Ready for some hard truthing? Here in America, we didn't celebrate New Year on January 1st until 1752. That's not even 270 years ago. My Aunt the Nun is that old. And dig this, make the break before you eat the cake. Yeah, my brain just went, and you were there to witness it.
Welcome to the No Pants Zone party. You can join at home. Come along and bring your friends. Here the party never ends. Welcome to the No Pants Zone. Never have to feel alone. Go ahead and shake your butt. No one here will give a fuck. Welcome to the No Pants Zone. Welcome to the No Pants Zone. Welcome to the No Pants Zone. Welcome to the No
Oh, I like to see my dingle dangle all day. If you see my dingle dangle, you better get out of the way. Hey, but hey! Welcome to the Funky Werepig here in the No Pants Zone. Throw those pants in the air like you just don't care. I mean, all of them, because this is the big season finale. I'm so hyped up, but I'm also a little melancholy. You know, it's been one hell of a first season, but we're hitting you today with all the usuals. We got the moon pies, a little smaller because I'm kind of on a diet, and obviously the last lighting of the underwear scented candle. Cotton freshness. I got the comfy shirt on, and oh, did you notice it? Did you notice it? Do you see it? Right over here. Right over here. I have my own official Zima button. I got this from a buddy of mine, Comic Book Bill, who had it forever. And he said, you know what? I think this belongs to you. And I started crying and stuff because he knows my connection to Zima. And it's a very emotional moment. But I thought it was very cool of him. What a way to, end 2020 is you get a Zima button. That'll lift the spirits. So, by the way, if you get a chance and you're into comic books, that's where I get all my comic books, from Comic Book Bill. He's at Comics Connections. Comics spelled with an X, so you know it kicks bahookies. You just find him online. He'll mail stuff to you. That's how beautiful that is. We got to get this show on the road. Like I said, big season finale, but don't sweat it. Don't get all emotional on me yet, because we'll be back in the spring. We're coming back in the spring. We just got to take a break to do some stuff. Our guest tonight is a longtime Werepig buddy, best-selling author, Michael West. He has a brand new book out, Cronus' Return. It's he says, the last book in his popular Legacy of the Gods series. I'm going to bust the nut on that one during the interview. But I mean, Mike has been with us through I think every incarnation of the show. Is that true? Because when he was Choate Road, right? He was on that, and then he was on the original Funky Werepig radio show, and then when we did the No Pants Zone radio show, he was on that. I just wish that there would have been some kind of clue that he would have been on this new show in our first season. Hello, Oogie. Our musical guest tonight, I have waited all season long to introduce you guys to CC BRONSON. This voice, oh, I fell in love with her. Way back in the TMV Cafe days, I remember her. I was going to use her in the first show, have her sing in the first show, and then I was like, no, she's grand finale. She is the big finale. So she's here to sing Sugar Free, which is great if you have a New Year's resolution, but you shouldn't, because as all good piggy petters know, New Year's isn't until April. We're going to move morning coffee back a little bit in the show. Today we're talking with Michael Ballin, one of my favorite people in the world and a great actor. One of the best I know I've ever worked with. But we're not going to be talking about his acting career today. We're going to be focusing on his artwork. He during the shutdown and everything, has expressed himself through these beautiful, beautiful pieces. He takes wood and glass, and you'll see them later on the show. They're absolutely amazing. So we're going to be chatting about that for a little bit today. The reason we have to bounce it back, of course, is because we're actually talking to him now, but Mike lives in LA, so it doesn't show up for another 3 hours. It's just the way it goes. What we will do in the meantime is earlier on in the season, during one of our Werepig droppings, that's the stuff we put in between the big barnyard bashes. We created a little montage to salute all you beautiful piggy petters out there. So we're going to run that for you real quick, and there might be some faces that you recognize. I know what you piggy petters are saying. Holy banana moon pie! Were you on stage with who I think that is? Yeah. That is big time music superstar Beyonce. Personal friend of mine. Speaking of big stars, joining us via satellite through Zoom is our own musical director, JJ Glamour. JJ, how are you, good sir?
A butthole says what?
Did you just say a butthole says what?
What?
Hey, JJ, I have a surprise for us. Boychild 1.0 and 2.0 rigged up a little short film for us. It's an homage to the first time that we met. So I haven't seen it myself. Let's take a sneak peek, shall we? Very wise to wait until after your Christmas bonuses. JJ, how would you describe what you just saw?
Unclean, but in a good way.
You speak poetry, my friend. Look, we have so much to cover. You know, this is the big shebang here, so I'm sure you have something special for us. Would you play us out, JJ?
You know, there's nothing more magical than the smile of a child. And here's a song I wrote called That Unicorn's Gonna Eat Your Mommy.
Subscribe to the Funky Werepig on YouTube and have all the laughter and music drop right into your hands. We're wrapping up season 1, but feel free to binge watch or catch any episodes you might have missed. We'll be back in the spring. Till then, throw those pants in the air like you just don't care. Behold the Magic Farmers Incorporated! Speak, moo cow! Speak!
You're not the boss of me!
Coming this summer from the masterminds behind the box office hits. It don't be like that though. And smell that? You're welcome. Too Busy Thinking to Be Thinking Productions brings you the most climactic movie, probably like ever. A city in flames. A world on the brink of destruction. And a future on the verge of collapse.
Satan walking the earth, Professor Juanita?
No! It's something much worse, Captain Huggy! It's the kaiju monster known as a Ronin! From From the dank, smelly depths of hell, the purest raw evil rises with every adjective imaginable to erase everything in its path. Its unstoppable, bougie path.
Professor Juanita, look!
Avush!
Isn't that Dog, the parrot from the novel, The Legend of Ugly Joe? Kaiju versus kaiju. A flying foe could defeat the monster of Ronin.
Alas, Captain Huggy, I fear not. Although Dog is undoubtedly the greatest crayon drawing of a parrot ever, he's only two-dimensional. He's not enough.
Were you just depth shaming?
Oh, damn! Let these two-dimensional professionals tell you the way it is.
Yes, indeedy. I'm Professor Blurt Matuba, and with me is six-time champion, 122-time loser, Hall of Famer, wrestler, Coco Starthor. All hope is not lost.
There is one out there who can take a Ronin down like a rage mom with a Cuisinart.
In fact, I hear him now.
Give me a G flat. Perfect.
Sniff, sniff, sniff. Sniff, 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 sniff. Sniff, 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 sniff.
Lonnie!
Lonnie!
The world's ugliest dog.
Don't need a backup. Something in a crack up.
A Ronin is powering up, obviously addressing the potential arse-whooping.
Roni's jumping around like he frying bacon naked. Ah! Now Juicy's juicing up with the Lucy and the Lonnie.
All the pretty colors, all the pretty colors. Oh, they're really going at it as only kaijus can.
My sister dated a kaiju, said it was the best loving she ever had.
Not the time.
As the world's ugliest dog, Lonnie ain't afraid to get dirty.
And as the world's most beautiful rhino, a Ronin has adorable boots and knows how to use them. By Her Majesty's grace, a Ronin is unleashing high voltage upon his foe.
But Lonnie's spitting comets! Captain Huggy, Lonnie is holding his own. But the collateral damage is phenomenal!
I know, Professor Juanita. We have no choice. I'm calling for a nuclear strike.
No.
Nature finds a balance. Let them fight.
The greatest story of good versus evil in the history of movies. The ultimate clash of the most powerful beings on Earth. Starring 25-time Oscar winner, 22-year-old Hollywood icon Alexandria Miracle as Professor Juanita de Armadillo. Banjo Dick Pettibone as Captain Huggy McFookum. And Matthew McConaughey as cheeky, drop-dead gorgeous, sexy-ass man-meat Lee Goatboy Hartnip. On Premium Cable Max Plus, Viewmaster, and in a theater. Lonnie, Kick Bahookie, King of the Kaijus. Fact. Columbus Day, 1966. Blessing, Pennsylvania. 3-year-old Ugly Joe Barrett murdered his family, then disappeared. Fact. Machete, chainsaw, improper insertion of a tire pump. For over 50 years, horrifying unsolved murders have been filed under Ugly Joe, a serial killer who only leaves behind crayon drawings. Really good crayon drawings. Fact. In order to survive, you need the facts. Order Gregory L. Hall's The Legend of Ugly Joe off Amazon today and save yourself. Everyone else can buy their own damn copy.
And now it's time for Country Wisdom with good old Papaw.
Papaw, may I ask you a question?
Sure, grandson, you know you can talk to me about anything.
Mary Lou invited me to the Sadie Hawkins dance at our school on Saturday. I want to show her that I like her because she likes me. I know I'm only in 5th grade, but like, can I hold hands with her and stuff?
Well, let me give you a little bit of advice that my papa gave to me when I was your age. Squirrel meat don't fester like no pudding pop.
Mama says we're putting you in a home.
This has been Country Wisdom with good old Papaw.
If you would like JJ Glamour to write a song to someone you know, then dedicate it and sing it on the Funky Werepig, contact us at monkeyflingingpoo924@gmail.com. Include the person's name and a quote, an inside joke, or message you'd like to hear in JJ's lyrics.
If the song becomes a hit, JJ shares nothing with you, not a penny.
Dedicate a song at monkeyflingingpoo924@gmail.com.
Yes, this is real. Send me your stuff, like today. This one's going out to you, Trisha. Tissa Baba, Tissa Baba, oh Tissa Baba, Tissa Baba, baby. We all know you as Tissa Baba, but I think you know yourself as Tissa Baba. Tissa Baba, baby, oh Tissa Baba, oh Tissa Baba. Hey, what was that squirrel's name, anyway?
Everyone, piggy petters everywhere. You probably already know this guy. He used to be on the old show, and then he was on the No Pant Zone, but this time you get to see him in 3D coming at you. This is there he is. He's scary. I've read his work. He's scary.
It's scary.
This is best-selling author of Cinema of Shadows and The Wide Game, and probably one of the best short story collections I've ever read. A Skull Full of Kisses. Short story collections go either way, you know. You can just kind of and this one I loved. It was rock and roll. I have to say, like, you, and obviously other than like the big guys, you and probably Harry Shannon have the two best I've ever read. So that's pretty good company.
I'm honored to be in the same breath there as Harry Shannon.
I really like your process of you go through this whole thing where it's almost like you're cooking. You let it simmer, and then you come back, and then you add a little of this, and then you have somebody come in and taste it, and whatever. You have tasters. You have you have this whole legion of people that are part of your process. Me, I sit down. I'm like, maybe I'll write a book. Okay.
Yeah, usually what I'll do is I'll write a chapter, and then I'll read through the chapter, and then I do edits myself on the chapter, and then I'll send it to my pre-readers, and then they give me their input, and then I put their stuff in. And by the time it usually gets to my editors, they're like, they've told me in the past that they feel like they're running an Easter egg hunt. They're trying to find like every little thing. And so that's what I like. I mean, my goal is that when I hand it to the editor, even before the official editing starts, I want to have it as close to, shelf ready as I can get it.
See, and I think that's just being professional. I mean, it's. I have a lot of friends who are editors, as do you, and their number one complaint is when someone just splots something down on a piece of paper, first draft, and goes, "Here, fix whatever you need to fix."
Yeah.
But they love people like you who just come in and they're like looking for that one comma you didn't use.
Right.
Aha. Gotcha.
One of my editors especially on this Legacy of the Gods series, we had intensive discussions on whether Yeti was capitalized or not. These are the kind of things that we discussed.
Go to war on it. What was your stance? Where did you fall on that?
Well, we kind of came to an agreement that if Yeti was discussing the race, it would be capitalized. But if we were talking about one individual Yeti, it would not be.
Okay, so if someone comes from France, they would be French, and that's capitalized.
Right.
But if I said, oh yeah, that's my buddy, he's French, singular, that's not.
Well, but in that case, it is. So
That's it. Get the book back. Get the book back. Legacy of the Gods is not over yet. You messed up on Yeti.
That's the thing with me is that, and even with the audiobooks, going into the audiobooks, because in the last couple of years, all of my stuff's been translated into audiobook, and so I'm listening to the audiobooks to approve the audiobooks, and I'm hearing stuff that's just like, can I get that back? Can I rewrite that passage there?
Can you hear the guy? Can you hear the guy who's reading your book, audiobook? Can you hear him say it with a capital Y?
Yeah.
Is that
I can hear it. I can hear the intonation there.
You are nothing if not astute.
No, but what's funny is that now when I'm writing, I hear the narrators for the various series. I hear them reading the characters' voices, so I hear their voices now.
So they actually start translating for your muse.
Yes, in a way, yes.
We all like to picture our muse. What does your muse look like?
What does my muse look like? My muse would look like a cross. Did you ever see the original Clash of the Titans?
Yeah, with the owl, right?
Yeah.
Harry Hamlin?
No.
No?
No, mine would be more like Medusa.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you can't go wrong with Harry Hamlin.
I try not to look her directly in the eye.
Sexiest man alive in People, so you really can't go.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't even the mechanical owl, huh?
No, it's Laurence Olivier with the light coming out of his head.
If you're gonna have one, if you're gonna have guidance, that's the dude. That's the dude. Oh, that's beautiful. That's yeah. My muse with everything is Mary Lou Retton.
Oh,
so Legacy of the Gods.
Yeah.
Now, when I first knew you, you were the creepy cornfield guy.
Right.
You were the guy who used to scare the hell out of me, and every story was like kind of like attached to the same area, and there was always creepy stuff in the corner. It was always some ghosty and goblin and ghouly and freaky, scary stuff and spook houses and all kinds of things like that. And then Legacy of the Gods. Where did that come from? Why? Boom.
Well, actually, Legacy of the Gods came out, or it came out. It was in my head first. I actually started off writing it was going to be a werewolf book, and then somehow, I had a dream. I had a dream which became the infamous temple scene in Poseidon's Children. And I'm like, well, where the hell did that come from? And then I had to structure a book around that. I'm like, how did we get to that point? I wrote the first draft of Poseidon's Children in 1989 on a computer in a computer lab at college, and printed it off with a dot matrix printer.
That, right now, half of the piggy petters out there are Google searching their asses off. What is this strange language he's talking about? Yeah. What is 1989? History doesn't start until after 1990.
Well, it was on floppy disks.
Oh, now you're pushing it.
Yeah.
Now you're pushing it.
And then what happened is that I had printed off one copy, and I had given it to a friend. And I lost my discs. And so I lost it. And then I would keep going back to that friend and say, hey, can I get that back? It's like, and he was always moving. So
no.
It was always in a box somewhere.
Oh.
And then it was 1996 when I finally got it back from him.
So almost 10 years later.
Yeah. And then I basically rewrote it and like going, what the hell was I thinking on this? And rewrote that. and I had the first draft ready to shop around in 1999. And then while I was shopping that around, I started writing the wide game. And the wide game actually is what got picked up first.
Yeah. I think that's where I first knew you, was the wide
Yeah.
game. So that's wow. Isn't that cool? I always tell my boys when I lend them what little wisdom I have, I always tell Boychild 1.0 and Boychild 2.0, don't ever throw anything away.
Oh yeah.
As a creator, as a writer, as a whatever person, do not throw it away, because it will come back around.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for instance, like I had written a prologue to Cinema of Shadows. And then as I was doing the editing on Cinema of Shadows, I said, it would be better if the main character told this story rather than seeing it, because then we don't know whether we believe it or not. We're seeing it from another character's point of view, and we're not inside her head. So I said it would be better to go that. So I cut the prologue. Well, then an editor for an anthology of Halloween stories came to me and says, "Hey, do you got anything for this?" I'm like, "Oh, well, yeah, I got this thing lying around." So I basically sold the prologue as a standalone story, which was the bridge and Skullful of Kisses.
Obviously, the new one coming out, Book 4, Cronus' Return. Obviously, I'm not going to do any spoilers. I'm not going to bug you about things like, well, where has he been? Where has he been? Where's he returning from? Read the book, you'll find it out. But my staff has scratched a note on here. Last book.
Yes, it's the last book of the series.
What's the dealio with that? Why? Why are you trying to do it like a 4-part trilogy? You want it to be a 4?
Right.
Are you
right. This is the so long and thanks for the fish.
That's okay. Okay. It's
the 4th book in the trilogy.
The 4th book in the trilogy. Yeah. So that's a beautiful thing. You've always been a trendsetter, though. You've always been. I'm just gonna bust your hoo-ha right here. The last book.
It's the last book in this storyline. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
There's always a chance that I could be sitting around bored one day and say, you know what, these characters that are still alive at the end of the book, I could do something with them and go off on another story. So, I mean, there's the whole history of the Earth. I can go back into the past and do a prequel series if I wanted to.
That's been done successfully, and if anybody could grab that horse and ride it, it's you.
And I seriously, I have thought about either doing a high fantasy series like set in like the Dark Ages, or a prequel trilogy to this book set in the Dark Ages, but go back into the past and get more sword and sorcery elements into it and whatnot.
Yeah, it's first off, I have to do this before we move on. Last book. Ha! Told you. As we can see from behind you, this is, and you were, I'll just say it, you were blatantly rubbing it in my face before we started recording. I was like, that's a hell of a wall, and I bet all those were autographed. And you're like, oh yeah, and I was like, that's just, because anybody who knows Michael West knows everybody knows Michael West. I don't know if there is a famous, especially within horror, icon, person, whatever, that you haven't met. I've seen your pictures with everybody. I mean, you're Mr. Red Carpet.
The 3 that I would probably grab, if I had to limit it to 3, would be my Dawn of the Dead.
Autographed by?
Everybody. Romero, Savini, all the leads, all the main zombies. My Nightmare on Elm Street, which is it's the poster for Freddy's dead with the glove and the sweater like lying in a pile and says born and dies. And it's been signed by everybody who was ever in a Nightmare on Elm Street film. And then my Friday 13th Jason mask poster that's been signed by every actor who's ever played Jason. And then at the top, Alice Cooper signed it and wrote "The Men Behind the Mask."
Because Alice Cooper.
Well, he sang the theme song from Part 6, which was "The Man Behind the Mask."
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. If there was an autographed headshot, what would you grab?
Oh. Probably the Greg Hall headshot that says, "You are my best friend."
Do you still have that?
I do.
Oh, get out of here.
I do.
I think I know one other guy who still has my 1990s mullet-headed headshot. And I think, and he claims it's still on his fridge. He actually keeps it on his fridge at home.
It's actually with the I've got this is all the pure horror stuff in this room, and then in the guest room it's more of an 80s room where I'm going to have my Karate Kid poster and the Indiana Jones stuff and Jaws and like all the Blade Runner and like all the more like 80s stuff, but your headshot is in there among the swimmer from Jaws and
Yes, I finally made it. I'm next to the swimmer from Jaws. Yes, awesome. Yes, I'm somebody now. Oh, that's so beautiful.
You know what blows my mind is, when I was a kid in the 80s, sitting in the dark theater, watching these movies and whatnot, and I'm thinking, oh, these movies are cool. This is so cool. If you would have told me then that I would meet the stars of these movies or that I would be friends with some of them, I would have said, what, get out of here, But it's like just to be able to chat, with some of these people about stuff is just it's probably I didn't even start going to conventions until 2007.
Really?
Yeah. So, but it's just if you would have told me back then that all the people I would meet and the places I would go and whatnot, I wouldn't have believed you.
So really, just a little over a decade.
Yeah.
Right? No, wait, 2 decades. I'm not really good with the math. But here's the thing: there are some guys who could have been doing that 25 years and couldn't have made that kind of impression. The fact that you've done it for a little over a decade, and not only have you met them and know them, they all know you. That says something about you. That says something about, because I know I've met you and I love you, and you're one of my favorite people that I get to hang out with. You just got that aura about you that makes people go, I like that guy, And then you add in the fact that you're talented as hell. You're an awesome writer. So on top of it, you're like, and I came back with this book. So that's kudos to you. Kudos to you for being a good guy.
I'm honored to be thought of that way.
Well, you deserve it. You've earned it. You work hard at it, and you have accomplished it. Because Lord knows, I get along with 2 people. That's it. That's it. And when I have to, because they work over here at the deli, that's where I go every day for lunch. So always be nice to the people who make your food.
Otherwise, there's no soup for you.
Or they give you the food.
Well, yeah.
And they giggle when you eat it. And you
Right.
never
No.
want to see somebody who made your sandwich giggle when you start eating it.
No, you never do.
So that's big time lesson. You have pets named Gamera and King Caesar.
Yeah. Our pets tend to be named after Godzilla creatures, kaiju. We had a bird at one point named Rodan.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I mean, if you got a turtle, you got to name it Gamera. I mean, what else you gonna do?
You have to. I mean, it's if I had to do a do-over, do you think I would have gone with Greg? Like Gamera, dude. Call me Gamera. So you're actually doing your boys a solid. Calling him King Caesar.
That's right.
Can't go wrong. So better than Jet Jaguar. That.
Don't piss off my oldest. He's a huge Jet Jaguar.
He's a Jet Jaguar fan. Well, I will definitely not piss him off because he can pick my bahookie. I've seen your boys. They don't play around.
It's like we were playing a Godzilla Monopoly game, and it had the character. It had King Ghidorah and Mothra and like all the big ones, and then it has Megalon. I'm like going, okay, you've got all the creatures at your disposal, and you pick Megalon as one that you're gonna of your 5 that you're gonna do Megalon, and that's the one he picks. And I'm like, why? You've got all this. Why would you pick Megalon? He goes, Megalon's cool. Like Megalon's a cockroach with electrodes on his hands. I mean, he's
Sometimes they do it. They do it just to mock authority.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah. I've always just thought Jet Jaguar was like they couldn't afford Ultraman.
Yeah. I have 2 dishes that my kids, even the ones who no longer live at home, will come home for. One is my jambalaya.
Oh.
And the other is my meatloaf.
Meatloaf is a good one. That's a good standard. And everybody can kind of make a meatloaf, but when you make good meatloaf,
I use 1 pound lean ground beef.
Okay.
1 pound sausage, usually like spicy.
Doing the hybrid, okay.
And then 1 pound of bison.
Where the hell that's a buffalo.
Yeah.
Where the hell do you in Indianapolis, in Indiana, go get a buffalo? What do you do in your spare time?
I just throw my spear out the back door and go to Kroger.
And then hit somebody at Kroger. Yeah. I hit the kid at Kroger and I go, you'll get another spear unless you get me some bison. So, bison. What the hell made you say, you know what this meatloaf is missing? Bison.
Actually, one year I was at the store and they had a sale on bison. And I said, I wonder if this would make good meatloaf. And I just tried it and it did. So.
There are so many. We have so little time and so many problems to solve with you, Michael. We need to wrap up soon. I need to let you go. You got some jambalaya burning. I can smell it from here. So, but I must say, as always, it's so cool to hang out with you again, even if it's this way. I miss the day of standing in somebody's garage after a convention, just shooting the shit and laughing our asses off. You're a good dude, man, and you always make me smile. Michael, behave out there. Give your lady love a big hug, and thank you. I understand the one condition that you made for being on the Werepig for the season finale was, and I understand. I'm cool with it. Ladies and gentlemen, basically he said, I will come on your show if you promise never to call my house and sing happy birthday to my wife again. So
she cherishes that. She really does.
Yeah, I'm the guy right next to the swimmer in Jaws.
That's right.
That's right. I got clout.
Right.
So love you, buddy. Take care.
Love
and
you.
thank you so much
For
being
Great
on.
singing. All right.
Order Michael West's new novel, Cronus' Return, from his popular Legacy of the Gods series today. You can find all Michael's books at buymichaelwest.com. Are you ready, piggy petters? Then let's put the needle to the record.
Oh yeah. All you ladies, give a listen. I wanna tell you about my sad condition. See, I used to live a life that was oh so sweet, but things ain't been the same since my sugar left me. Now I'm in the sugar shop. I got a bus load with my money sock on sugar free. I'm sugar free. I'm sugar free. My baby took his sweetness away from me. I'm sugar free. Oh, I'm sugar free. Where, oh, where can my sugar bear be? Now I'm in sugar shop. I got a bus load with my money sock. I'm sugar free. Monday rolled in, Tuesday sneaked by, Wednesday had me wondering how I ever get by. I'm sugar free, I'm sugar free. My baby took his sweetness away from me. Now I'm in sugar shop. I got a bust over my money sucked. I'm sugar free. Yeah. My baby took his sweetness away from me. I'm sugar free. I'm sugar free. Where, oh, where can my sugar bear be? I'm sugar free. Oh, yeah. I'm sugar free.
Want the best in indie music? Head on over to tmvcafe.com and tell them the Werepig said, all right, baby.
And now, what in the hell is wrong with Greg?
I never get to wear this hat during the show, so today I'm going to do it, and nobody can stop me. Back off. Hey, can I call you Mike? I've always called you Mike, but I know that it's Michael with your professionalism, with all your careers. I know the French call you Michabeline.
There you go. Or the bug,
The bug. That's a whole nother. That's the teaser for the bigger show. The piece behind you is that Burst?
That is Burst. Yeah, that's what I call
Yes. Yeah, I told you guys. I told you it was Burst.
Who are you talking to anyway?
I have a staff of 1,000 that work for me.
Have we discussed the child labor laws recently? This is actually, if you can see, these are hexagons, and they're mounted on a board. And then this is shaped around it. This is a beautiful wood that I love to use. It's an African paddock redwood. I've gotten into some exotic woods, and the first thing I have to do is I make the molds of the pyramids, pick the color scheme and the layout and all that, and then I have to build and cut these pieces and build and cut these pieces. So it's pretty complicated.
Do you go in with a big picture idea of what you're going to do, or do you just keep going from the smallest hexagon or whatever and then go, well, let's do 4 more of those, and then I'm going to encase it in African wood?
No, I generally come up with an idea to work from in those cases, but I'm starting to branch out into some new resin pieces, and even those I have to do mock-ups before I can actually figure out how it's going to work. So yeah, there has a lot of planning goes into it.
Wow. And that's not included in the 50 hours of actually doing it.
Not most of it. Some of it is when you stand back and, you know, you're working and you got to really think things through, and you know, some of that's included in it, but the initial stuff I don't usually include in it. Sometimes I use a computer. I have hexagon pictures that I'll put into Photoshop, and then I'll move them around and size them differently.
You've come a long way, because I remember when you were into sculpture, and I was doing a lot of nude poses for you, and it was at a Play-Doh, which I never really understood. You'd crush it through a fun factory and say, that looks like you.
But oddly enough, it was that nude sculpture that got me into the hexagon shapes. I remember working.
I've seen a doctor since then, but thank you.
So this is actually poured resin. Those hexagons are made of wood, but inside it are pyramids made of resin.
That is awesome. And that, of course, doesn't break like glass.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it's basically plastic, really. It looks great. It looks like it's got as you can see, a little sheen to it. It's got a nice finish, and yeah. So I'm working with more resin, and I'm branching off into some newer stuff now too. But
where did you even come up with this? Did you see like a really weird Nat Geo special, and or were you watching something on like the ancient dominations of the Catholic Church, and you were looking at the stained glass windows, and you were like, those barbarians are going to break right through. They ought to use resin.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they do actually now. They make fake stained glass windows out of resin. I was watching YouTube the other day, but you know, actually the initial surge into my now art career in my old age, I was working on a movie, and I was in a studio. I was on a sound stage, and there were some offices there, and they had this tremendous piece of charred driftwood, just a big black charred driftwood piece. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. I like that. And I said, how can I do that? How can I do that in my own way, make it my own? So I started working with some ideas, and then one thing led to another. And I really enjoyed the process and making things. And I don't know how many pieces I've made in the last like year and a half, 2 years. You work with what you got, you know, and it forces you to go in different directions, and it spurs creativity, you know. I think that I've long thought that when you need something or you are forced to do something, that's when you're the most creative. And you look at like actors, musicians who make it to the top, and then they become very complacent and they're not as creative anymore.
I can agree.
I think that happened to you too. You know,
long ago.
You're working from home, and you know, it's like you don't wear pants. You know.
Do you autograph your resin?
You know, I've been trying to figure out how to put my my signature on it.
Well,
I was thinking of burning it in, maybe.
You know how you can do it.
Tattoo? Oh,
Post-it notes.
Boom.
Everything.
What?
Post-it notes.
This is why you're my friend.
To share these brilliant
collaborated.
This insight that I have for you.
So, like the hexagon thing, you know, like I told you. Yeah.
It's mathematical. This is a square.
See?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
It's
getting
the
better.
mathematical universal mathematical hypothesis, or vice versa. MUH. Look that up. Everything's mathematical. Everything.
Really?
Yeah. MUH.
M-U-H. Ma? Ma?
Of course.
What is ma?
It's an what's that? An acronym? What do they call those?
It's a Jersey slang term, is what it was.
Ma.
Yeah. Get out of here, you ma.
Muffa.
F-U-H. M-U-H. F-U-H. Where can people visit the Michael Gallery, so to speak?
Well, you can look up, you can Google Texture, TEKS-CHUR, Texture Studios, or M.A. Bailey, B-A-I-L-E-Y, art.com, MABaileyart.com.
That's simple enough.
Cool.
Even I can do that. But thank you so much for being on the show. This is so cool. Morning coffee. I've been so interested. Usually I drink coffee throughout morning coffee, and you've had me so spellbound, I didn't even think about drinking the coffee.
Wow.
You know, until I remember the name of the segment.
I'm blushing again.
There should have been more Post-it notes. So that will not happen next season, folks. Like a clock on a wall said ding ding dong, it's time to check the monkey clock. You know, the batteries in the monkey clock died long ago, so when I look up and I see that the time is 10 after 12, that is the correct time. Because one does not argue with monkey clock. Well, my treasured piggy petters, night has fallen and we have reached the finish line. I've been in this chair so long, I think I've grown a third ass cheek. Let us give haranks and hugs to our guests tonight, Michael West, CC Bronson, and Michael Ballin with the morning coffee. It's so cool when you get to party with your best buddies. Do me a favor if you would during the break. Go out and you know, check out their books, check out their music, check out their artwork. I know it'd make them feel groovy, and at least one of them will probably burst into tears. I'm not going to say who. Michael West. High five and disco hip bumps to all the usual partners in crime. Magic Farmers Incorporated, Ivan November / Malone, McCoy. And let's give a big round of applause, if we can, to all the guests we had this year and the musical acts. Adam Ezra, thank you for starting us off. Tip of the hat to you right out of the gates, and bringing the Adam Ezra group with you, and Alana the Magnificent for making it happen. Kalila Smith, Bobby Stahl, Michael Ronan, Austin Forrest, and Casey Lansdale. I can't thank you guys enough, and I can't wait to have you back on the show. You know, this show was kind of cool, this finale, because I think we gave a nod, a mention, or a spotlight to everybody that was on this first season. I can't think of one person that we might have missed. Like to share a little something before we sign off. As you know, we always drop on Thursdays, so we can kind of keep on schedule. But we bounced this show back on purpose. Number one, just because I hate to be away from you guys. But we bounced it back because I wanted it to land on a very special date to me. And that's why I'm going to dedicate this entire first season to the person who truly makes this all possible, who makes this happen. Not only the show, but everything in my life. So I dedicate this first season to you, my gorgeousness, my lady love, just for putting up with me, you know? So love you very, very much. Like, you can't even see how far apart my arms are. That's how much. Piggy Petters, we'll be back in the spring. So don't forget to still stop by if you missed an episode, grab it. If you want to binge watch again, that's groovy. And don't forget to put peer pressure on your friends. Peer pressure is a wonderful thing. Just tap them on the shoulder and go, have you subscribed to the Funky Werepig yet? Practice that look in the mirror. It's intimidating as hell. But most of all, we have to throw our pants in the air like we just don't care. We have to put the needle to the record. And that means only one thing. JJ, there you are, my friend. If you would, play us out and make it something funky.
During the break, I'm going to wash this shirt. With soap this time.